We all know someone who has 2 weeks to finish a project, but doesn't start until the final 12 hours. To others, it looks like laziness or poor time management. But for the person in the middle of that midnight rush, it feels like a surge of pure, focused energy. If you are someone who only switches on when the deadline is staring you in the face, your brain isn't broken. It's actually addicted. Today, we're decoding the psychology of the last-minute specialist and why for some people, pressure is the only way to perform. For most people, a deadline is a source of slow-burning anxiety. But for the chronic procrastinator, a deadline is a chemical trigger. When the clock starts ticking down, your brain's hypothalamus triggers the release of adrenaline and cortisol. This isn't just stress. It's a biological nitro boost. This surge mimics the effects of stimulant medication, sharpening your focus and silencing the distractions that usually hold you back. You aren't lazy. You are a high-stimulation worker who needs the threat of failure to feel alive. Psychologists have discovered a fascinating link between last-minute work and perfectionism. It sounds contradictory, but many people wait until the last minute because they are terrified of failing. By waiting until the final hour, you create a safety net for your ego. If the work isn't perfect, you can tell yourself, "I just didn't have enough time," instead of, "I wasn't good enough." It's a sophisticated defense mechanism that protects yourself from the harsh reality of being judged on your full effort. There is a specific joy in the great escape, finishing a massive task just minutes before the deadline triggers a massive explosion of dopamine. Your brain records this victory and forgets the 13 days of guilt and stress that came before it. This creates a psychological cycle called intermittent reinforcement. Because you've succeeded at the last minute before, your brain is convinced that this is your secret formula. You become addicted to the high of the finish line, making it impossible to start early next time. Inside the procrastinator's mind, there is a constant war between the limbic system, which wants instant comfort, and the prefrontal cortex, which knows you need to work. For the last-minute specialist, the prefrontal cortex is often outvoted until the very end. But when the pressure becomes high enough, the panic monster wakes up and takes control. This isn't efficiency, it's survival mode. You're not working smarter. You're just forcing your brain to run at a speed that eventually leads to burnout. The last-minute specialist isn't a bad worker. They are a high-pressure engine waiting for the right spark. But remember, a car that always runs on nitro eventually breaks down. Maybe it's time to find a spark that doesn't involve a deadline. Hit subscribe if you're ready to understand the hidden layers of your own mind.